Why Blazing Sun Desperado is the best in gaming history. You know, when people talk about the greatest gunslingers in gaming, they always say the same names that come up. Arthur Morgan, John Marston, Revolver Ocelot, Aaron Black. You know, all of them are iconic, all of them are very deadly. But there's one gunslinger almost nobody talks about. Blazing Sun Desperado. A monkey from BTD6. You know, you might think, oh, it's just a monkey game where you're hitting balloons. You know, it's not that, like, strong. And by the end of the video, I will make you think that the Desperado from BTD6 isn't just, like, an amazing gunslinger. He might actually be the strongest gunslinger in gaming. You know, the problem with most gunslingers. Most gunslingers are limited by their worlds they live in. Arthur Morgan is an amazing shot, but he's still a human with a revolver. John Marston's the same story. Even legendary characters like Revolver Ocelot are mostly relying on skill, training, and realistic weaponry. And don't get me wrong, skill matters, but eventually, raw power starts to matter too. You know, if a gunslinger like Arthur Morgan can shoot through a wooden fence, and another can tear apart armies with super weapons, they're not exactly playing the same game anymore. Now, I'm going to tell you why Desperado is different. You know, the Blazing Sun Desperado isn't just fighting bandits, he's not fighting soldiers either. He's not even fighting monsters. He's fighting balloons. Yeah, I know that sounds ridiculous. Until you realize how, like, strong the balloons are in late game. I'm going to show you the game here, and I'm going to show you how strong they are. And if you've, like, played the game before and you already know how, like, strong the MOABs are, just skip to the 6-minute mark, and all there is, like, that I'm explaining here is just how powerful they are. And, so yeah, the 6 minutes. Let me just show you how strong these things are. So, like, place down, like, place down a mortar, place down freaking a cannon, place down an airplane, place down another airplane, place down this little guy, shooty guy, and place down this superhero, and then we'll place down, I don't know, this ninja. And this is like the weakest of them. So there's like the weakest one. So look, with all those monkeys, it's on the easiest track. Easiest one, by the way. Easiest one, and we still lose. Now look at that. That's just the easiest one. Then there's this one. And look, we can level these guys. Get that guy. These guys can tank so much. Look, and then there's 3 of them inside there. Even more of those things. Look, we lose. Look, and then there's this blasty guy. Target down there. Put him against the big guy right here. I mean, they can tank so much, and yet Desperado can still take these things down. Look, they barely even touched this guy. Like, come on. Literal bombs being dropped on this guy. Even target it here. I mean, look at that. All that firepower. All that. Can barely crack the MOAB. And look, even if we pop the outer shell here, there's still 3 more of these things inside of them. And then inside of all the red ones, there's the blue ones. Those are even worse. Look at that. Look how much faster they are. You're not catching that. And now look, if we get rid of all the balloons, look at this fast guy. They're not even touching him. Look at that, undamaged. Don't even get me started on the big one. Look at this one. We can make that one of the strongest monkeys in the game. Fully max him out. Look, he barely even touched his own. You know, maybe if we like, look at that, bombs being sent at him. Look at how strong he is. Look, we'll even get that guy. Airplanes following after him. Get all my cash to get this guy. Look at this. Look at 4 airplanes on that. A big airplane sending bombs at him. And still we leak to the DDTs right there. Don't underestimate Desperado. Look, we lost that. We lost it. That's how strong Desperado is. Okay, so these things are obviously very powerful. They survive missile strikes, survive superhero monkeys, and like magical attacks. They survive just like futuristic technology that like most sci-fi universes are jealous of. And Desperado destroys them by thousands. Now, we gotta explain the firepower gap here. Arthur Morgan can wipe out a gang, so can John Marston. Aaron Black can wipe out an entire squad of elite warriors. Desperado wipes out entire battlefields every second. In BTD6, the number of enemies on screen would overwhelm almost any gunslinger in gaming. But that Desperado doesn't just survive those situations, he excels in them. His attacks are designed to handle the most absurd enemy counts while maintaining constant damage output. At this point, we're not comparing cowboys anymore. We're comparing a battlefield weapon to a guy with a revolver. Now, I do have to admit one thing. Aaron Black does come close. Now, to be fair, there's one gunslinger, and it is only Aaron Black. Unlike Arthur Morgan and John Marston, Aaron Black isn't limited to realistic things. He fought monsters. He fought enhanced warriors. He survived in a world filled with magic, gods, and supernatural threats. He got over a century of combat experience. And his accuracy is absolutely insane. If anyone on this list has a chance of competing with Desperado, it's him. Now, he does have a problem though. Aaron Black is impressive because he survives in a powerful universe. Desperado is impressive because he thrives in one. You know, in BTD6, Desperado fights alongside towers capable of summoning solar gods, creating black holes, launching orbital strikes, and manipulating reality itself. And the enemies he's expected to help defeat can survive attacks from all of them. That means Desperado is operating on a battlefield where the power level is absolutely absurd. Meanwhile, Aaron Black's greatest strength has always been skill. But skill only gets you so far when your opponent's firepower belongs in an entirely different league. Now, here's the verdict. So who's the better cowboy? Aaron Black. Who's the cooler bounty hunter? Probably Aaron Black. Who's more experienced? Definitely Aaron Black. But who's the stronger gunslinger? That's Desperado. You know, Arthur Morgan can't keep up, John Marston can't keep up, and even Aaron Black eventually gets outscaled. Because at the end of the day, Desperado isn't just another gunslinger. He's a gunslinger fighting in a universe where reality-breaking powers are considered normal. Somehow, he's still one of the best. Now that we're at the end of the video, do you agree that Blazing Sun Desperado is one of gaming's strongest gunslinger? Or is there another character I missed? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing for more weird gaming debates that nobody asked for.